language that I will not use here. With that, she goes away from the door gasping for air. 30 seconds later, her husband, the fugitive, comes to the door with his jacket in his hand, opens the door quickly, and he says to both of us, both agents, come on, let's get out of here. So we said, Joey, why so fast? He said, I'd rather go with you guys than put up with her all day because you dishonored her by cursing at her in Italian. I said, well, she did it to me first. He said, that doesn't matter. I was supposed to defend her honor. I didn't. I'd rather spend the day with you guys in jail.
But respect does not necessarily include fidelity. When it comes to the women in their lives, mafiosi hold a double standard.
You treated your wife, the mother of your kids, properly. You took care of your family. You respected her when you were in her presence. But when you're out of her presence, you fooled around.
To prove his manhood, a mobster must have a Gambetta, mafia slang for mistress.
I saw guys with girlfriends for years and years and years. They had double lives, so to speak. It just came with the territory. We were out in clubs every night. We were high rollers. For some reason, we were attractive numbers to the girls. We always had women around us, and they always wanted to party with us and be with us. And, you see, when you like, she becomes your girlfriend for a while.
In the 60s and 70s, New York is the place to be seen. The city has some of the world's top nightclubs, the Copacabana, Studio 54, and the mob is there to enjoy it.
There were the Gambinos, and then there were the Bananas, and the Lucchese's and the Colombos. So everybody, they all had their own section, basically, at those clubs.
But one night of every week is special. On Saturdays, mobsters make a show to each other of being respectable, and that means going out with their wives.
Well, Saturday and Sunday were wives, and any other time was girlfriend or anybody else you happen to be with. And that was pretty prevalent among everybody that I knew, at least at that time.
For mob associate Henry Hill, the arrangement could lead to complications.
Say Diana Ross was at the Copa, Naturally, your girlfriend wanted to see it, and your wife wanted to see it. But Saturday night was strictly for wives. You didn't go to the Copa with your girlfriend on a Saturday night. That was a no-no. So that's what you did. It could be that if you had 3 girlfriends, you had to see the show 3 times,
Wives, for the most part, understand and accept the arrangement, as long as their husbands show respect by not rubbing their affairs in their faces.
You tried to keep the wives and girlfriends away from each other, and they all knew. It was, But, as long as, as long as you brought the square home, had the private schools and the maids and, everything they wanted, it eased a lot of the aggravation that you would get, if you found lipstick on your collar or something, stack of 50s, here, go shopping, leave me alone.
But some mobsters flagrantly breach this rule. When the FBI steps up surveillance of the mafia in the 1980s, agents begin digging up more than they bargained for. Paul Castellano is boss of the New York Gambino family. At the age of 70, he falls for the family's housekeeper. Castellano carries on the affair under his own roof. In so doing, he dishonors his wife, Nina. It's an unforgivable lapse of mafia protocol. And the FBI hears it all. When the feds bust him for racketeering in February 1985, Castellano gets the picture. He knows he's revealed mafia secrets on the phone. But when he learns what the FBI has on his affair, he gets really worried.
He was very concerned after he learned of the electronic devices in his house. He was more embarrassed and very concerned about the fact that he had had a penile implant when he was somewhat older in life, presumably to take care of this paramour. And he was more embarrassed about that information coming out to his peers and the subordinates than he even was about the girlfriend.
Castellano's reputation as a boss is at stake. The wiretap compromises his very manhood. When news breaks of the affair and the boss's implant, it rocks the Gambino's tight-knit world. A rival decides now is the time to make a play for Castellano's crown. In December 1985, Castellano is out on $3 million bail. He and his underboss, Tommy Bellotti, take time out for a meal at this steakhouse in Manhattan. They don't make it to the front door.
The killers just waited and observed Castellano's car, and as he got to the front of Sparks, opened fire and killed them both.
Castellano's rival can now take control of the Gambino family. His name, John Gotti. Gotti gets to the top by flouting the commandments. But as he will learn, pride comes before a fall. Secret papers discovered in 2007 reveal the Mafia's code of honor. The so-called 10 Commandments talk of morals, truth, respect. Qualities that seem at odds with the business of crime. Commandment number 9 has a pretty clear message.
Non si frequentano né taverne e né circoli. Don't go to pubs and clubs.
Yet it's impossible to enforce.
I mean, my life was in a pub or a club. I mean, 6 nights a week I was out in some kind of club, either in Manhattan, Long Island, or wherever I happened to be at that time, anywhere in the country. So I don't know where that one came from, but we certainly didn't follow that.
Mobsters and bars go together like whiskey and soda. The pub or club is a prime spot for doing business.
You know, in every area, there was always, 4 or 5 clubs owned by wise guys. There was always something going on, If you had a load of mink coats or something, and the guy couldn't get rid of them, maybe you could get rid of them. He was always networking.
But this commandment has a deeper meaning. Secret societies shouldn't put themselves in the spotlight.
My uncle did what he did the old-fashioned way. He wasn't looking for publicity. He wasn't, and he always told me, that's where the trouble is. The trouble's in the bar. Trouble's in the club. That's where you're gonna run into people. You're gonna drink, you're gonna let your guard down.
To be successful, mobsters have to keep a low profile. That, at least, is what the rules say.
The old guys didn't want to be known. They wanted to be low-keyed, okay? They wanted to basically be under the radar screen.
But what might work in the hills of Sicily doesn't work in the big cities of the U.S. By the 1980s, mobsters are stepping away from the traditional mafia codes and beginning to spread their wings.
The newer guys coming up all wanted to develop a reputation. The old guys were understated. The newer guys are overstated.
A younger generation of mobsters are taking their cues, not from the commandments, but from the silver screen.
The younger guys, in many respects, are too flash. They've actually adopted the roles they see in movies, like Wise Guy, okay, The Sopranos, Donnie Brasco. I think it played into their whole persona.
They wanted the flash, they wanted the glitter, and that's almost the antithesis of what these commandments are about and what the mafia is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a secret society.
One man, more than most, signifies this change in mafia values. John Gotti. Gotti is a gangster about town. He revels in the media spotlight. He talks the talk. He dresses the part. The press calls him the Dapper Don.
I mean, I like John a lot. He made no bones about who he was. He was a gangster, didn't want to be anything but a gangster. He acted it 7 days a week, 24/7.
Colombo capo Michael Franchese rises through the ranks at the same time as Gotti.
You knew that he was going to be the boss or die trying.
Gotti assumes control of the Gambinos in a blaze of gunfire and publicity. In December 1985, he orders the murder of the incumbent boss, Paul Castellano. The brazen assassination on a Manhattan sidewalk gives the press its first taste of what is to come. When the FBI bugs the Ravenite Social Club, Gotti's headquarters in the heart of Manhattan's Little Italy, the Dapper Don defiantly holds court on the sidewalk. A string of Gambino soldiers and capos start showing up. Under the tough conspiracy law known as the RICO Act, gangsters face jail simply for meeting and talking about crime. Gotti is walking a tightrope. A high-stakes game of legal cat and mouse follows. The feds lay charges of racketeering. Gotti's lawyers get them overturned. Always, Gotti has a quip and a smile for the camera. Many people love Gotti's don't give a damn attitude. The Dapper Don becomes the Teflon Don, so called because prosecutors can't get any charges to stick.
He was making a mockery of law enforcement, and people in law enforcement, in particular the FBI, made a concerted effort to once and for all make a case that would stick against John Gotti.
Eventually, Gotti slips up. In 1990, the FBI record him making a chilling phone call.
You tell this punk, me, John Gotti, you sever your head off.
Threatening murder is the smoking gun prosecutors need. On December 11th, 1990, the feds raid the Ravenite Social Club, where the Dapper Don holds his court. Gotti goes into custody. After 2 years of legal wrangling, Gotti is finally convicted of murder and racketeering. His fans are not happy. Gotti dies of throat cancer in prison in 2002, burnt out in part by his love of the limelight.
Undoubtedly, Gotti made a mistake. You don't deal in the open and flaunt who you are in the media, talking to reporters. Organized crime never did that before.
The spotlight of publicity also falls on Colombo capo Michael Franchese. At the height of his criminal career, Franchese is making millions from his illicit scams. The media in New York dub him the Yuppie Don.
Yeah, Yuppie Don, that was a media tag that they gave me. Boy, I didn't like that. I don't like the term yuppie, but I guess because I was young and I was into business and wore the suits and I had a fair amount of success. I mean, the guys on the street wouldn't dare call me that because they knew I didn't like it.
Franchese gets out of New York and heads to Florida. He sets up in a new business, movie production.
Yeah, we produced a movie. It was kind of a breakdance type of film, musical, a lot of music and dancing. And I used a lot of the at-risk kids because we filmed in some bad neighborhoods, some gang-infested neighborhoods.
This time, the publicity Franchese gets is good. The mayor of Miami Beach is thrilled that Francese's movie is keeping kids out of trouble and gives him the key to the city.
Our police department, as well as the rest of the city, is delighted to have you, and any courtesies that they can extend to you, they will be happy to do so.
Franchese can barely keep a straight face.
What they didn't realize at the time is I opened up a big gas operation down in Miami, Florida. So they give me the key to the city on one end, and we're stealing all that tax